Hi, good evening, and welcome to the Nevada Women of Achievement presentation tonight, honoring Jemma Jones for her achievements in film producing. I'm Danette Tull, and I'm one of the board members of the Nevada Women's Film Festival. And this is Jemma Jones. So how you doing, Jemma? How are you feeling?
I'm good, I'm good.
You know what, like my first question is is this the first time that you've sat down in 2 years? I feel like you've just been, I was worried. I was like,
you mean
she's going to be
physically
be producing something tonight and I'm not going to get you. So is this literally the first time you've sat still?
No, I sit still sometimes with the computer.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, thank you so much for being here. I didn't know there was going to be a Golden Knights playoff and everything. Otherwise, I would have scheduled around it because I know you're a diehard fan. But everyone's here supporting you. There's a small group of people here in-house and some people streaming at home. So super casual, it's just me asking you questions, just the friends talking like we always do.
Great, love it.
Don't worry. So the other day, just a side note, we were just talking about how you're just sitting down for the first time. And Jemma was surprised to find out that she has produced 5 feature films in a span of 1 year during the pandemic. We were going over text message and she was like, oh my gosh. So is that mind blowing or you didn't even think about it?
I guess just with the pandemic considered, yes. And then also I think just the number in a 12-month period of time, I just don't think about it like that. So yeah, when you said that, I was like, phew,
it's insane.
It's not bad.
Not too shabby. It's insane during normal times. So you're from a small suburb near Auckland, New Zealand called Papatoetoe.
Papatoetoe,
Did
yeah.
I say it sort of right?
Yeah.
You said it had about 80,000 people. And tell us a little bit about your early involvement in entertainment. Where did you get the bug?
So I started jazz ballet dancing at age 3. And I guess I just always kind of had a love for performing, drama classes, choir, all of that stuff. And then I got involved with my local community theater called Manukau Performing Arts. And I was I think I was 16 or 17 at the time. And I was really lucky because it was only maybe a 3-minute walk around the corner from my house. So I got involved and then did a couple of musicals with them when I was in high school. And then when I turned maybe 19 or 20, the woman who was the production manager for the theater, she was going on her overseas experience, and so she was leaving the theater, and they were like, Jemma, we think you'd be really good at this. Would you like to be a production manager for one of the shows? And I was like, oh my God. But I said yes, and I was just I just feel as soon as I did it for that first time, I was like, oh man, this is my shit.
So
you know what I mean?
That was
yeah.
your calling. You never looked back. What did you love about it?
I think that in order to be a producer or a person in production in general in the industry, you have to be good at working with people from all walks of life and all, different types of personalities and all of that stuff. And so I think doing that was the number one thing. And then number 2 is just I got to work alongside the people that I'd been performing with for a long time and helping make it happen from behind the scenes versus being in front, which I think for me, I found it a lot more gratifying. And then also when I first started classes at UNLV and I thought I might still be an actor, I realized oh man, you really have to be in love with this to be an actor. It's hard. And I remember Professor Tyler was like, I lived off of ketchup and hot water, and I did 100 auditions before I got one job, and I was like, nope, not for me.
Right. So no part of you misses any of the on camera, and this is excruciating for you right now, isn't it?
This is a little nerve-wracking. But the theater performing is different. I miss that a lot. I miss the theater performing a lot,
right?
But not just because it's different. You know what I mean? You get you show up and you're providing people with a different kind of entertainment than I think you are from behind the camera.
So there's still opportunity. You can kind of on your downtime, which you have none. I mean, you could go into some theater. I
could.
So take me from, all right, you're 16, you're 19, you're production managing these live theatrical plays, right? How did you wind up from there to University of Nevada, Las Vegas, however many years later?
So I moved here when I was 21. I'd worked at a couple of summer camps. The first one when I was 18 was in Arizona, and a lot of the staff from that summer camp were students from UNLV. Oh. So one of my really good friends, he lived here, and I came to visit them after camp, and came to visit them the next year, and the next year when I did camp, and he was like, hey, why don't you apply to UNLV and see if you get in? And so I applied, and I got in. I went back to New Zealand that year after summer camp, had like an 8-week period of when I was supposed to start school. Told my aunt and my nana, I was like, I just booked a one-way ticket to America. Like, I got a visa. Like, you know, my friend helped me. His mom helped me get my student visa. And you know, I was like, I booked a one-way ticket. And I remember, like, my aunt was like, she's like, I mean, I don't know what, like, she was like, not sold. She was like, I don't think this is gonna work out for you, Jemma. Like, and
So thanks for the support there.
No. She was, but I think she was just kind of like, you know, I had like no money, no job, like no real idea of like how I was gonna do any of it, and I didn't. I had no idea really. So I moved over here, and you know, one of my summer camp kids' parents co-signed my first student loans that I could get into school, and it was a tough journey. Those years in school, there was a lot of semesters that I did the work but never got credit for it because my student loans didn't come through. And my advisor Julie was amazing, and she was like, stay in school because if you get them last minute, you know, we can apply to the faculty senate and you might be able to get credit for them. So, but it was a tough few years. I mean, but I mean. Now that I look back, like I was 21 and I'm 34 now, so you know, I think, you know, you have a different kind of, you know, drive. I don't know that I would do that again now, but like, you know, now I look back and I'm like, okay, all of those like electricity getting shut off times were totally worth it.
Well, right. I mean, like, you're the success story, right? Like, there's that waitress that says, oh, I started off waiting tables and now I mean, that's your story. I mean, pretty much you're taking pictures with Mario Lopez and like Melissa Joan Hart, and like, what does your family in New Zealand think about that? Like, do they have those shows back there and they recognize these stars and they're just mind blown, or is it?
They know who they are. I think they think it's pretty cool.
Yeah,
you
of
know?
course.
I mean,
like, you're from this small little town, right?
Yeah, I think they think it's. I mean, I think they're proud, and I know that they. I think, you know, when I used to try to explain it to my nana, I'd be like, oh yeah, I'm doing this, and she'd be like, oh, that's cool. That's so hard to describe. You know, you can't.
Right.
Unless, you know, you live in the shoes of someone that does this job for 12 or 14, 15, 16 hours a day, like, it's hard to describe. I'm just like, oh yeah, I'm working on this job.
Right.
Didn't die.
Yeah, exactly. I made it through the next one. I heard somebody the other day describe like producing or filmmaking as just problem solving. Like one problem after the other. You're just a series of solving problems.
Yes, it's problem solving. It's also babysitting children.
Right.
So it's both of those things.
Well, we're going to get into that a little bit later. So once you wind up at UNLV, right? You have been known to credit Professor Warren Cobb, the Associate Chair and Director of Production Operations at UNLV Department of Film, as your mentor. He's actually here tonight supporting you. So tell us about that relationship and how he may have influenced you to go into producing.
So when I first started at UNLV, I took a class that was called Working in TV and Film, and Warren was one of 4 professors, and there was no real like producing class per se at that time, but I knew that Warren was the like producing professor. I met him on my first day of college, and it's funny because I went and spoke in Warren's class the other day. Sorry, I always go in like 30 different directions.
But it's totally fine. Like, we have an hour.
I went and spoke in Warren's class the other day, and he was explaining that first day, and he remembers it, and I remember it, and it was 13 and a half years ago. You know what I mean?
Tell us about this.
Oh man, it was like, you know, I walked in and Warren's like, hi. There was like 3 of us in spring semester that were, you know, coming into the film program, and you know, it was just like me and Warren and 3 other people, and I think there was another professor there at the time who was on half the tour, and I remember Warren was kind of like, oh yeah, you know, you said you wanted to be producer. I was kind of like, whatever. And then I remember I kind of had to actively go and you know, find Warren during his office hours and be like, hi, like, can you teach me about producing? Like, and so he, you know, he did. I remember one spring break, before we were working on Stealing Las Vegas, I came into school like every day from like 9 till 5 with him and the co-producer Tommy. And, you know, they had me like break it down and do all kinds of like, you know, intense things. And then the following week, Warren told me that I was going to be the UPM on the movie.
Awesome.
So,
you don't normally start there.
No, you don't. So I was very lucky. I feel like that really like set me up for success in a lot of different ways, because I learned about things that you don't really learn until you get out in the field, like Screen Actors Guild paperwork, and just hiring what kinds of crew you have to hire and all the equipment. It's just, you know, like the paperwork side of it, I learned on that movie, and I feel like that set me up for.
So that movie, Stealing Las Vegas at UNLV, that kind of cut your teeth, you'd say, like in like your first taste of like producing.
Yes, for sure. Yeah, because it's like, you're dealing with all this like weird stuff behind the scenes that nobody even knows what's going on, and you're like, oh my gosh, we're like on day 13. It's like, are we gonna make it till tomorrow? Like,
right? How am I gonna live with like no sleep and everything like that?
Warren's sleeping in his office, like.
So that like leads to the next question: is like, what are some of the things you learned from your experience at UNLV that helped you in your current career? I mean, that obviously that film started it off, but what are some other lessons that you may have taken with you?
That people will hire you because of your attitude over your skill most of the time, and that no one. It's like, I remember we were in class one day, and one of the professors was like, "Listen, no one wants to work for an asshole," and that's or with an asshole, and it's so true. It's like, I think about the people that I have surrounded myself with now in the workplace, and everybody's attitude is stellar, and we come to work and we have fun, and we don't cause drama. The drama doesn't circulate on set. It's just a good time all around,
Yeah, so that you're like leading me right into my next questions, which is great. So, in producing, you would say from your perspective that you hire, what are the qualities or attributes you look at when you're crewing up for a production, and all those people are here? Your film family are all here. All these favorite people that you take with you on every production are in-house right now. So what, obviously there's skill set to be considered, but for you, for Jemma Jones, what do you look for?
Work ethic. I think that's something that has been instilled in me my whole life. My aunt has the best work ethic of more than anyone I know. And so that's number one thing that I think I look for when I'm trying to hire people, is like, they come to work, they do the job, and they, there's not really there's no drama, there's no, negative energy. It's just like people that have now become your film family. And I think that is, it's like everybody's dream to wake up and be able to work with their friends that they love.
Like, do what you love.
Yes,
exactly.
and like
with people you love.
These are people that are part of my life, and that I would, do anything for, and I feel the same reciprocated back to me.
So if someone's trying to break in and they let's just say, they hit you up somehow and they're like, how do I get involved on your next project? And they just entry level, fresh out of film school, like, what are you looking for with the new people? Same thing?
Just like good attitude, eager to learn, knows when to stay quiet on set, because sometimes that's a problem, even though I talk more than anybody. But sometimes it's tough, because like, you're on a tech scout and there's a person talking to you, they're trying to catch up with you, and you're like, I really need to listen to the conversation.
I love how you smile when you do the whole,
because there's a time and a place for everything. I love catching up with people, but just not during a tech scout when I'm with the client.
No, smart advice, and I agree with you. I tell people the same thing. Like, people would rather hire someone easy to work with that has no ego than the guy with 25 years experience that, thinks he knows it all. Like, it's just not easy. So what is the difference between a line producer and a UPM?
Well, I think...
And it's interchangeable sometimes.
Yeah, it is. I'd say like on a big budget project, they're two different people. At the budget level that I'm at right now, it's the same. It's basically just the person that writes and maintains the budget, so making sure that you're not going over, that that the crew is situated, that all of your vendors are also situated. I'm trying to think what else I do.
A lot, just like location scouting, and sometimes involving casting, right? A little bit.
Yeah, I think it's bringing all of those pieces together.
Is there anything in your position that you don't do? Like, I've heard from somebody that producing is like being everyone's mom. That's what somebody told me, and you have to just make sure everyone's okay, and is everyone feeling okay, and like, is everything okay? And I just feel like
I don't know if I do that.
You touched upon the babysitting aspect, but like, I feel like, oh, there's a problem with this or a problem with that. Let's go ask mom. Let's go tell mom about it. I mean, would you say your job is to keep it from dad, right?
Yes,
like the
for
problems.
sure. I guess that's the number one thing that you want to make sure of on the set, is that when you're in that position, you want for people to come to work, and you want them to be safe, and you want them to be enjoying their working experience, ultimately, as well as like, also we're working together to create this thing that's going to eventually end up on the TV. But yeah, I mean, I guess it is. It's a lot about managing, problems that come up every day. It's, you know, it's production, and it happens a lot to where there's issues, and I work very, very closely with Sam Haviland, who's, I call him my work husband, and him and I, you know, he's like my person that I talk to every day about some stuff, you know, like, so he talks me through it, talks me off the ledge, sometimes talks me to the ledge.
Yeah, you need somebody
but you
like
know,
that.
but you know, it's if without him, I don't really know what I would do, because he's my sounding board, and I'm just
Right.
like, Sam, what do I do about this? Like,
Yeah.
this is crazy. What do you think? And then he's like, okay, Jemma, this is what we need to do. And then we just, you know, we work together very well, and I'm very thankful that I found that relationship with a first AD that, like, I just truly hate working without him. So.
Aw.
Yeah.
So great. So you try to take him with you as much as you can, right? Like, you've got this little core group of people here.
If I could have Sam on every job for the rest of my life, I would.
All right, up next, Sam. So what do you think makes a good producer? I mean, you're talking about all these things that you do. I mean, obviously you're good at it because you keep getting hired back and back again. So what I know you're embarrassed by all this, and you don't like the attention, but it's obvious that you have a lot of fans and you're good at what you do. So let's just own that, girl. And so tell us, what do you think makes a good producer, whether or not it's you? Let's just say
okay. Someone that handles stress very well, and I'm not sure that I always do that. I was listening to a podcast the other day when I was driving to New Orleans with a couple of the people that are here, and the production manager on the podcast on Team Deacons was saying that one of the things that he has to do all the time is not react so quickly to situations, like listen to this side, take a minute, go listen to the other side. And I think sometimes, like recently, I'm just like, I hear one side and I'm like, you know, that, you know, like, okay, I'm just,
like
I'm like, oh man, all right, this is like,
then.
you know, and I'm like, all right, that person, that's just not cool, that's gotta go. And then I realized that about myself, and I'm like, okay, I really have to calm myself in the situation, handle the stress, you know, talk to both parties or whoever's involved, and then, you know, have a cool off period, and then deal with it, because, you know, your initial reaction normally always isn't the right one. So.
And you're always under stress anyway. Like, you're always, like, all these problems and everything coming to you, you know, it was just, it's crazy. I can't even imagine, like, the amount of stress involved.
So I think it's good stress management, good people skills, like I said before, just with, you know, just literally being able to handle any kind of person, because there's a lot.
Or situation.
Yep, and situation.
And organization. I mean, you're leaving that out, right? You probably have some big, I think I saw you one time, you're prepping for something. You had like notebooks and sticky notes and color coding, and it was just like this huge, like,
yes,
you know, I've never seen anything like it. That was awesome. But and I'm a former librarian, and I was impressed by that. Like, oh, it's really organized. Do you have like Dewey Decimal, your thing, and all that?
Yeah. Like managing and the Dropbox that I share with Becca. Oh, it's good. It's good. You can find if someone's like, oh, you know, the producer that I work with a lot, Paula, she will be like, can you send me this document? And it's like 30 seconds. I can send her the document.
Pull it up in your files.
5 movies ago, like the articles of organization, whatever, I know where it is.
Exactly.
But yeah.
That is awesome.
I do like doing that. Like, organizing on the Dropbox is it makes me feel happy.
Totally like a skill set. I'm gonna have you organize my photos after this is over. It's just like insane. What was I going to ask you next? So if we were to get into like the super nitty gritty of like producing these features, these projects, or commercials, right? You've done commercials, reality shows, features. Which one is your favorite? Do you have a favorite?
I don't think I have a favorite. I think at the end of the shoot, if you walk away and like people are feeling good, there are minimal problems, and the product is, you know, what you anticipated, that's my favorite.
Yeah. How about if I were to like have you dig deep a little bit and share some like the good, the bad, and the ugly without revealing any kind of NDA things?
Okay.
Like, what is the most horrible, crazy on-set story that you've had to troubleshoot as a producer, or more than one story? And I'm sure that we have some back here that will pipe in if you don't.
I know.
But,
I'm sure. I know. I'm like, so I'm like, I wish I would have had time to.
Like, I mean, there has to be like something. Somebody was late. Somebody got sick. I don't know. Like in a normal time, and then we'll talk about COVID times. But looking back, like there had to be something.
There's been a couple of times where, like, you know, I've been on a job, and then a producer has straight out said that they weren't going to pay someone that like worked really hard, which is so fucked up. So it's just like, you know, like
Yeah.
you're in that position because you have to tell people like, hey, okay, I'm sorry, this person's not going to pay
Like,
you.
I don't know where your check is.
It hasn't happened to me often, maybe like twice in my life, but like, you know, you bring your friends with you and you vouch for this person, and then like they either disappear off the face of the earth, or they straight up say, I'm not paying that person, you know, for literally the like hard work in the middle of summer that I watched, you know, and it's just, you know, yeah.
And that's it? The person just doesn't get paid, and it's just like, sorry? Like,
Yeah, I mean, pretty much, yeah.
Oh my gosh, that's horrible.
Yeah,
really
but then, you
horrible.
know, then I just came off a show where, you know, our executive producer, Reba McEntire, sent the entire crew $100 Amazon gift cards at Wrap, which was
Love
like
it.
super sweet of her. Yeah.
Love that.
Yeah.
So
I bought the
that's an
dress with it.
example. Yeah, that's really, looks great. I love it. Thank you, Reba. Thank you. So those are the normal sort of troubleshooting things that happened under normal circumstances. And, you know, you produced 5 feature films, all for the Lifetime Movie Channel in the last year, which is insane. Like, that's a special award in and of itself. But tell us about what that experience was like, you know, during COVID. In fact, one of the films you worked on was the first production to return after the shutdown, if I'm not mistaken.
It was.
Yeah.
It was so stressful. So Paula Hart was one of the executive producers on that job, and so was Mark Roberts. And so we were kind of all, you know, it was all new territory to us.
Oh, me too.
Yeah, it was. And, you know, I remember after that job, Paula said it was the most stressful job she'd ever done. And she was so right. It's like I went to bed every single night freaking out about people getting COVID.
Yeah.
I ended up getting COVID on that job. I was one of 3 people to get it. And so it was on like the second week, I think I got it. And so, yeah, I mean, we made it work. I worked in isolation from the hotel room, whatever. But again, you know, it just, before I got COVID, and even after that, it's like everybody's taking the test. You have to wait. That was back in the,
Yeah,
you know, back
there was
when
no
tests were
test coming
taking
in, you
48
couldn't
hours
find
to get
them,
results.
yeah.
And I literally just remember laying there awake at like 3 in the morning, like being like, oh my gosh, what happens if someone gets COVID? Like our production's gonna get shut down. And I remember after that thinking like, man, COVID has just taken this element that I used to love about production, and it still does. Like even all the shows that we've done during this time, there's an element that is not, unless it's like a one-day job and you know no one can get it, it's like I'm constantly worried about that. Like what's gonna happen if like the DP gets it, or like Sam,
or the talent.
Yeah, the talent. Yeah, it's like, what are you gonna do? Thankfully, after that first show, no one else, you know, got COVID on one of the sets for the rest of the other 4 movies. But you know, it still doesn't. It's good, but it just, you know, it still doesn't mean that the stress level isn't there. And yeah, it's scary. It definitely makes filmmaking a little bit less enjoyable.
Yeah.
So
I mean, after that experience, do you feel like you're sort of an expert on COVID and PPE and sanitization? And I mean, you had to coordinate, like, where are you getting all this stuff, right? That was part of, all of a sudden, new jobs are created, and now there's COVID compliant officers, and there's like, you know, people the major crossover with new jobs being created. Yeah.
PPE from JR Lighting.
Shameless plug, thank you.
Yeah, we got a lot of our PPE from JR Lighting for the movies. The ones shot in Nevada, at least, because, you know, the truck comes, so we just put it all on there. But yeah, it's like, you know, spraying things down, testing 3 times a week for certain roles, dealing with a SAG rep who comes to visit.
That's fun.
Yeah, it's great.
That's always fun.
Love it.
What happens when they visit? What is that like? Are they like citing you and like?
No,
like,
they're just coming to
like,
just
what are
make
they
sure
looking
that
at?
you guys that we're following the rules and that we're not like.
But then they have their own set of rules. SAG has their own set of rules.
That basically but they require the whole production to follow, even though only the actors are SAG.
I know it's kind of a pain. I mean, we can talk. I don't know if anyone from SAG is watching, but I mean, it is difficult.
Sorry.
So I mean, really, honestly, like it's like more difficult if you have SAG. But
for example, I will keep this very short. But on the last movie, after doing, so this was the 5th one. After doing 4 without any of this random new stuff that we had to use. Apparently now we have to provide like the percent of air quality. We've got to have some machines like placed in the room that are the air scrubbers that are, and like, you know, you have to measure the dimension of the room, work out how many air scrubbers you need, and then they've got to be there, and then there's like some other type of filtration thing that you have to do, and I didn't even really understand what I was doing, but I was like, hey, just wondering, because we haven't done this on any of these other movies, so why are you requiring it now when, like, you know, basically like half America's vaccinated and a lot of people aren't wearing masks anymore.
What's funny is that nobody knew what to do, right? And like, you know, we had production, you had a production, and then all of a sudden SAG figured out what they were going to do later than everybody else.
Yes.
And then the unions didn't know what they were going to do, and then the state didn't know, and our governor didn't know. Nobody knew what to do, and so all of a sudden now everyone has their, like, now this is what you do.
Yeah.
That you have to adapt to,
Yeah, so
which is insane, by the way. I thought it was just kind of like, you know, make it well ventilated and whatever, but now you're telling me there's all this other stuff.
Yeah, they really want you to follow the rules. And, you know, the unions came together and created this big master document.
Like
the
later,
DGA,
though. It was like
DGA,
several
Teamsters.
weeks into the COVID,
It was all of the unions, DGA, Teamsters, SAG, and IATSE, and they all basically came up with this universal protocol. And so they just want you to follow the rules. They want to protect their talent. They want to protect everybody on set, which I totally understand. So, you know, we just got to do what we got to do for now, even though, like, it's a huge pain in the ass and it comes at an exuberant extra expense.
I mean, the cost alone of just like, of just testing people on set, right?
Yeah.
Like, I'm not a line producer, so I don't know like what the budget item is on that, but I imagine it's quite high.
It's a lot.
Yeah, it's a lot. So what was I going to say? What makes a production run smoothly, and does it ever?
Sometimes it does. I think it is good preparation, even though we never seem to have any.
I'm feeling that a little today.
It's your team that you trust that shows up on the day, and you're like, man, I don't really know what we're doing. Oh, you don't either? Okay, cool. Let's just do our best, you know?
It's just that vague, like, vagueness, and we're in it together. Like,
I think honestly, most of it is the team that you put together, and you know, if you have a good team behind you, I mean, the talent can be whatever, but if you have a good team that you work with, your production is most likely going to go pretty well.
That seems to be the case in any job, though. I mean, if you have a good cohesive team and you've got great leadership, I mean, it couldn't be better. So, kudos for that. What is one of your favorite jobs that you've worked on? And you can go back in your resume, like, out of all the jobs, like a favorite show or a favorite music video or commercial or something that you walked away and you went, you know what? That was so easy, and I wish it would all go like that every time.
Man, I'm just trying to think. I'm trying to blank. You
had Flip or Flop. You had you had some car commercials. You had
which one?
Bleacher Report. What else? Yeah, you had a number of different ones.
I'm just trying
now
to
we're
think,
all putting you on the spot.
Favorite, favorite job.
Just one where you just so hyped, like you were hyped during and you were hyped like after, like wow, I really wish I wish everyone was like that. All right.
So it was when I was working for Silver State Productions I think it was in 2016, and we got this client like Red Bull were working with.
Say that, yeah.
Did you know?
Yeah.
It was like Red Bull and Intel. They were shooting this really cool spot for CES, and it was a parkour spot. So there was this guy just doing all this crazy parkour down East Fremont. We had like a wet down truck and like really cool, like you know, we had a really cool team that came in. You know, Keys came in from LA, but then we backfilled all the other positions with locals. And I remember I had to get up in front of the downtown committee that allows filming on, and I just remember I was like shaking, and I was like, oh my gosh, hi, like, you know, we're just trying to get this permit approved, blah blah blah. And the producer, I believe her name was Laura, but she was just so hyped the whole time, and she really empowered me I was like pretty young at that time, and I think, you know, just kind of doing those kind of like bigger, smaller jobs that had big crews, bigger budgets, but like, you know, just a one-day shoot, and they just like, the spot turned out so cool, and the shoot was so good.
Is it on YouTube? Anyone know if it's on YouTube? It's the Red Bull CES from like 2000 and
it's in like 2014,
17.
But no, it's cool, and like I remember like after that job, I was like, okay, that's what production should feel like every time, you know, and it just like minimal like issues. It didn't help that their budget was pretty good, so you kind of could like, you know, when there was issues, you had money to like take care of certain things, but you know, it felt good. And I remember like walking away being like, okay,
Like
I got this.
empowerment is
Yeah.
so great. It's so great. Like,
Yeah.
you know, not to be micromanaged or whatever you need, Jemma.
Yes,
This must be so
totally.
great, like to work jobs
I
where.
have always said that if you have to micromanage the people that you work with, then you should not work with those people
Yeah.
because it's just like, it's degrading to them. It makes them feel shitty. Like, I would never want to do that to a person. I only want to uplift people. I don't want to make them feel like they don't know what they're doing because I'm like a control freak psycho that can't like
Yeah.
let go of certain things, you
Yeah.
know, like, you know, you want people to, you want to build people up in their role and you want to ultimately set them up so that they can take the next step to do something else.
Yeah.
And, you know, I think that's really key. Like, just, you know, and there's a lot of, it's funny because I say that, but then I work with a lot of people that are just like what I'm describing. So I'm not one of those people.
Who are some of those people you're describing?
I mean, I'll take
Not the bad, not the bad. Let the people that you're talking
Oh.
about have the good attributes and
Oh,
build
the good
people up
attributes.
and
Oh,
all
there
that.
we
No,
go.
don't call anybody out like I'm.
So, so I'd say like the two producers that I'm working with currently quite a lot, Paula and Mark.
Yeah.
Very like, I would say like very entrusting, you know. They're like Mark literally on the job that I just did with him in Santa Fe in March. He literally signed an entire checkbook and just handed it to me. And he's like,
Get
here you
out.
go.
Wow, that's some
And then
trust.
before, and then when it ran out, he signed another checkbook and I was like, here you go. Like, you know
Wow.
what I mean? And it's just, but he trusts that I'm not gonna
You're
go
not
over
gonna
budget.
just go blow
I
it,
think
yeah.
I gone a little bit over budget on that movie, but you know, not my fault.
I mean, you know,
No.
what are you gonna do?
Max's fault. You know, but that's what I'm talking about. He trusts me, and you know, same with Paula. Like, you know, it's not so like, hey, did you do this? Hey, did you send that document to so and so? Did you do this? It's
Yeah,
like
just trust.
that-
It's done.
yes.
I got the like Olivia Pope. It's handled, right? You're just like,
and it's
I
very
did it.
empowering, you know, when you have
Yeah.
people that trust you. I think like people do their best work when they feel like that, when they feel that the people that they're working for trust them, you know.
Yeah, and I think that person and those qualities that you're describing are you in your position now as a line producer with all these people here. I mean, you trust them to do their jobs, and there's no
Yes.
micromanaging, and you take people up with you. There's no, you know, what do they say? The rising tide lifts all ships, or something like that. I
Yeah.
think that's kind of the person that you are to a lot of these folks in the industry. Whether or not you see it, I think there's a, you know, you become sort of a mentor for people, you know, starting out. So.
I mean,
I know you hate it. I know you hate this, and you're embarrassed
like,
by it.
I don't know
but-
about that, but okay. But you know, I was thinking about that recently because on these last like couple of jobs, the night before I'm normally like, you know, like fuck, what did I forget,
Yeah.
you know, and I realized like the last couple of movies that I'm not worried because I know that everything is set. You know what I mean? That
Yeah.
we're at the point now where every person that is on the job has done their job, and I don't need to like be up until 4 a.m. the night before the shoot stressing about what we didn't do.
Not about that.
No.
You've delegated it. People are handling it.
And
There's a
that
reason
is
why
like-
you've hired those people.
That is such a beautiful thing to have.
Isn't it?
Yes.
Yeah, that's
You know, it really is. It's the most beautiful thing about the job that I have.
Yeah. So it lets you just focus on, you know, doing
Yeah.
your job. So, all right, Christmas movies. How do you feel when Christmas actually happens in December? Are you just done? Like you're over it?
So I do still really love Christmas. I don't watch Lifetime. So
Okay,
yes.
But I mean, all these movies are shot on the off season, right? They're
Yeah.
like in the summer, and it's
No,
hot
I love
outside, and
Christmas.
you've got like, you know,
Yeah.
Santa and fake snow or whatever. I mean, it's just, you know, I thought after 5 or 6 of these, you'd just be like, oh, God, no,
Yeah,
more
no,
Christmas.
I like, you know, I'll watch like Home Alone.
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't really, I feel like, you know, I try to stay away from that.
Well, I mean, you should watch Lifetime. I mean, these are all
No, I
your,
don't.
you
No,
know,
okay, I watch
you don't
the
watch
movie.
it before the movies that you make. You
Yeah,
watch it.
no,
of
I do,
course.
but not like I don't watch the channel
Like, no,
24/7
of
like
course
some
not.
people. But a
Girl,
lot of people
I don't
do
either.
that.
I only watch your
There are a lot
movies
of
that you
people
made.
that do that watch
Of course,
Lifetime like
part of the
24/7.
Christmas thing.
Yeah.
Sorry. Yeah, exactly. So, what I know what my reaction was when, and I got excited like you're my daughter or something. But I think I was like at home over Christmas break, and I like made my family watch this thing on Lifetime, and they're like, "Why? Like we never watch same thing. What are you doing? It's Christmas break." And I made my whole family watch the Mario Lopez one. What's it called?
Yeah,
They all came out. They all came out like at the same
like,
time
yeah,
or
like 2
within
days in
whatever.
between each other. Yeah.
And you know, your name came up like in the first like 2
Yeah.
minutes of the opening credits, and I was like, oh my God, I know her, like freaking out over it, like, come on, you know. And then all these guys, their name came up at the end, and I was like, oh my God, like proud mom moment, like
Yeah.
I know these people. And it's like, you know, you don't get that every day. You don't watch a lot of films where you're like, you know, I know these people, you know, and you're taking screenshots and you're just like, oh my God.
Yeah,
like
I had, like, a couple of friends.
Jemma, I remember I'm doing this. You're not, I mean, obviously. No, like I say that with all these UNLV kids, I call them my UNLV kids. Like, you know, I've been at the film office for 12 years. And, you know, I go to May's production class or David Schmoller's production class, right? And back in the day, 2008, 2009, there's maybe 2 girls in the class.
Yeah.
So the first thing for me is to see, you know, the increase in females in the industry, right? And I just remember looking back at you guys and saying, these kids aren't taking anything I'm saying, and, you know, they're just sort of like crickets chirping and everyone's kind of bored and whatever. And, you know, there's a handful of you guys that stayed around and stayed in Nevada and are making your livings, you know, doing this stuff, which for me is like a huge win. Like anybody that we can keep here and not move to Los Angeles is like, you know, I don't even work for UNLV, and I'm like super proud of it, right?
No, it's really wonderful how many women are in the film industry now. Like I looked around on set when we were shooting in Nashville, and we took a women in film photo on the stage, and there was a lot of us, and it felt so good. Yeah,
and that must have changed even in your trajectory of where the first production you were on up until now, right?
Yeah.
And what do you think? What do you think is going on? You just think it's like, you know, they want to see things that if she can see it, she can be it, right? Like representation,
I think so.
or they want to, this guy won't hire me, I'm going to make my own film and start my own production company. Like Dominica, the Castro sisters we're going to talk about that with them later this week, right? They didn't see the representation that they wanted, and so then they made their own company.
I think that, I think just now women are being more empowered to fulfill the roles that they generally probably didn't before. You know, like Trey, our first AC, you know, there's normally not that many women in camera department, and you know, like, you know, it's just normally like they do other jobs like costumes or, you know, they're script supervisors, but it's just like now they're kind of stepping into other roles, which is really cool. And I think, not to discredit costumes or script supervising, they're very important roles, but you know what I mean?
We have a panel, another plug, we have a panel on script supervising as well. Check the schedule.
Well, yeah, you know, just being, you know, being able to hire other women, like, you know, Lifetime loves to hire women directors, which I think is great. Yeah. You know, because there's not that many. There's not that many out there.
And I think the tide is changing on that. I think, like you said, the productions are looking for those above the line positions. I mean, they want to hire women and minorities, and I think that it's great because maybe without that they wouldn't have had these opportunities, right? Mm-hmm. So tell me, how did you become the go-to producer for the Lifetime channel? I mean, that's pretty huge.
I mean,
like you're like one after the other, you're prepping something else, aren't you?
Yeah, I am prepping something else. We're gonna, well, I'll get to that.
Well, NDA.
So, I got a phone call one day in 2018 from a Canadian company called Cineflix, and they were like, hey, we have this producer, Paula Hart, she's trying to shoot a movie in Northern Nevada, we're looking for a line producer, it's low budget, we have a conversation with her. And I'm like, sure. We talked on the phone, we hit it off, so we made that movie in 2019, and then she's really the reason, because she's kind of been, you know, she's been making Christmas movies for Lifetime for years, and so she comes up with these ideas, gets the script written, and then Lifetime, you know, gives her the licensing agreement. So she's brought me with her these last, you know, 5 we've done together. So
crazy. And there's 5 years, like what, 2 more you're doing, or how is it just like constant?
One more. Well, then she introduced me to another producer, Mark. So then now I work with Mark, and so like Mark started doing his own movies too. So you know, it's like now there's two people that have that Lifetime connection that, you know.
And all you needed to do is show up and do a good job, right?
Well,
I mean, they liked what you did, and they saw theoretically,
yes, that's what you have to do.
I mean, show up, you do a good job, they hire you back. I mean, that's what I see, you know, basically.
Yeah, and and so I think, I'm very thankful that I got that first job, because that's led to, you know, 5 more jobs, and now I've been able to work with some of the best people that, you know, I've ever met. So
and you're taking them with you, so the trickle down is just, you know,
maybe I think
amazing.
they're taking me with them.
Equal opportunity with that. But I mean, yeah, for sure, guaranteed. If one of these guys wants to make a movie, you know, hopefully in Nevada, they'll bring you on.
Yeah,
right.
I hope so.
Yeah. So I'm trying to think. So I think I read somewhere, maybe it was your bio, maybe it was Facebook, I don't know. But I think I saw somewhere how one of your goals in life was to become a member of the DGA. And you recently just did that. You're like a full-fledged card-carrying member of the DGA, right? The Directors Guild of America. Like, how hard was that process? The audience is laughing. It must have been pretty hard.
Well, I mean, the application in itself is pretty intense. You know, you have to get members to vote for you, and et cetera, et cetera. But how it works is that if you're working on a DGA signatory production, they allow one walk-on. So I was the walk-on for one of the jobs we did last year, which then, you know, I became, you know, then I was eligible to join. So they don't force you to join, but you know, I felt like it was the right thing to do. And
yeah. I mean, it's huge. Like the Directors Guild of America. Like I don't know many people that can say that in Nevada. Even maybe I can think of one or two other people that like reside here. I don't know if they still do, but like statewide that have that membership. So I think it's huge.
No, it was a huge moment of my career for sure.
So now that you've accomplished that and you've done all these Lifetime movies and all that, what's next for Jemma Jones?
I was actually just talking about this with Lauren last week. So ultimately, I think, you know, I'm having so much fun doing what I'm doing right now. Ultimately, my end goal is to make true stories, documentaries, you know, about things that matter. I think that's how I kind of got into the industry for that reason. Warren actually helped me figure that out when I was in school. You know, you want to, the content, the movies that I used to watch when I was, you know, my nana always used to, you know, and my aunt, we used to always watch like true stories. And I remember when I was like 10, watching this movie called In the Name of the Father. And, you know, it's based on a true story. And I just remember like feeling.
What's it about? I'm going to have to go look
it's
it
about,
up.
okay, so long story short, but it's basically about how these four, you know, these four, like a couple of Irish people, I think there's British people, maybe I think it's all Irish, they get convicted of a bombing that happens in the UK. And they're called the Guildford Four, and they had, you know, this lawyer eventually helps them get out after 15 years, but they were convicted for 30, and the lawyer like goes back and figures out that there's all this crazy behind the scenes stuff that happens. And I just remember feeling like, oh my gosh, like this is such a powerful story, and you know, I'm so thankful that I was able to watch that. You know, there was a documentary that I saw the first time I got to go to Sundance called How to Die in Oregon, and it was about like assisted suicide. That was another huge thing that I still think about all the time when I think about content that I've watched that affects me in that way, that I want to create those types of things for other people, because I think the greatest lessons that we learn are sometimes from the screen. And, you know, I would like to make content that teaches other people how to be better. And, you know, sometimes that you watch something and you're like, oh my gosh, that literally just, I 180'd my whole, I had a paradigm shift because of this, you know?
Is there anything specific that you want to talk about or story tell?
Yeah, you know, I've been manifesting this one topic. Warren and I have been Warren manifested it a long time before me, and then he brought me into it. It's like heavily about female circumcision in Kenya, and so
that is so specific.
It's so
like,
specific.
Wow, that was just way more
but you know, like
specific
it's like, but it's something that like I feel like we've been talking about it off and on for a decade, because I think like at one point we're like, well, should we go to Kenya? And then Warren's like, I can't, Jim, I have 5 kids, and like Al Qaeda's over there right now, like we can't go, and you know, but like, you know, it's like one of those things where I've never stopped thinking about that project, and it's like something that I think has, you know, like it's one of those things that I think needs a lot more attention. Yeah, I mean, I'm sure there's a lot of other things, topics-wise, that, you know, I could tell you that I would love to make content about, but that's probably been the one that, because I didn't even really know what it was, and then I learned a lot about it, and it's just, you know, it's one of those things.
How did you go from there to there? Like, where you saw a movie about it, or you read about it? What happened?
Warren had like a nonprofit about it, and like he wrote a feature about it, and so yeah, and I mean, this was like this is a long time ago, Warren. It was a long time, but I think we, you know, read the script. He had like someone else helping write it, and it was just one of those things that like really stuck with me. And I remember thinking like, man, like this is something that people really need to know about.
Right. Like, yeah.
Like this isn't okay, and like people need to know that, you know, because I don't think people really know. a lot about it.
Yeah,
But
no,
that's
I
just
mean,
one example.
I'll
you know?
be honest,
Yeah.
I don't know much about it either.
Yeah, I mean, it's a crazy, you know, it's a really crazy thing. So,
Well, man, we're here for it. We're here for that, whatever you do, whenever you do that. And I know your team is here for it too.
hope so. Hope they're ready to go to Kenya.
Yeah. Of course they will. They'll follow you wherever, right? I think I'm out of questions, so I'm gonna stop a little bit early and open up the questions to the folks here in person and also anybody at home that might have some questions. I've got my tech team texting me any questions that might come in from the live stream. So let's see if I have anything. Nothing yet. Anybody here have any questions for Jemma? Who said that? Someone said a question. Okay, Nikki, do you have a question?
How is it that you never needed to make the move to LA?
Just repeat,
That's a great
just
question.
Repeat the question for them.
Why did I never make the move to LA?
That's a good one.
It is a good one.
I'm surprised I didn't ask it.
Yeah, yeah.
Thank you.
So I love Las Vegas a lot. It's given me a lot of opportunity. I thought about moving to LA a lot when I was when I just got out of when I was able to start working and all of that. But I decided to stay because the opportunity started to come, and as I started as a PA, and so when I worked my way up to a coordinator, and then I started like being a PM, and then I started line producing, and then I've been a producer a bunch as well out here, and it's just like I still work all up and down the spectrum. I'll still be a product manager, or I'll do whatever I have to do to stay busy, but I realized like very quickly that there's not a lot of people out here that are in production that do this job specifically, and the opportunity and the jobs that I've been able to do, like just staying here. I only just started traveling starting in 2021. Before that, my entire career has been in Vegas. Other than last year when I worked a bunch in Northern Nevada, but it's all been in Vegas. I have not traveled, and I'm really proud of that, because I think that a lot of people think that they have to, leave Vegas and go somewhere else, but you don't. There's a lot of production here,
Thank you for that question.
Yeah.
I have a follow-up. I'm sure you hear it, I hear it, when people say, Nevada crew, man.
Or they're like,
we don't have talent in Nevada, we don't have crew up there. I got to bring all my people with me, blah, blah, blah. So what are we saying to those people? I know what I say to those people, but I want to know from what do you say to those people that, you're a UPM, you're a line producer, when somebody says, there's no crew, I'm going to bring all my keys, I'm going to bring all my my DPs and my first AD, and I'm like, what does Jemma say?
It's funny, I just did this on a call with Becca a couple of days ago on a Zoom call. She's like, yeah, the DP wants to bring his keys, and I'm like, oh yeah, I've heard that one before. And I was like,
right?
I know, and I told her, I was like, honestly, like, I get it, you guys do that, I get it. You guys want to travel your keys, you think there's no good people out here, but I was like, just so you know, there's some great people out here, and you'd be really impressed by the caliber of crew that are out here, just so you know.
And what is Paula Hart saying about that, and Reba McEntire, and all these other people,
Yeah,
and Mark Roberts, all these people saying, yeah, we have crew, we have some damn good crew.
We have some very good crew. Yeah.
So they get it. They're cool with you
do.
bringing your team wherever you go, right?
Yeah.
So.
Which is good, and because I want to be able to hire my friends because they deserve the job.
That's how it works. People get so upset, like, oh, how dare they bring the people they know and bring their friends. I'm like, wouldn't you bring your friends along if you're going to shoot a movie somewhere else? I mean, yeah, that's how it works. So, relationships, right?
Yeah.
And attitude, like you talked about earlier.
Attitude.
And I mean, some small skill set, obviously, some small amount,
a little bit.
Yeah. Any other questions, Heather?
Oh, so Jemma, so over like the last 10 years, like what's your take on how like the production scene has been evolving in the Vegas area? Like, what do you see changing? Where do you see opportunities maybe for students just coming out of film school who might want to be producers?
It seems from when I first left school to now, I feel like there's been a lot of reality, a lot of, a huge influx. I mean, that's kind of what I experienced for the first couple of years, and I did, 3 years on Flip or Flop Vegas, and that kind of really helped me just with my, life and like financial stability, because I had a consistent job. But I think for people that are just trying to get into the industry is like, try to find someone that needs a PA. get in, do a good job, you know, do the work, you know, get close to someone. Like if you're trying to be in the AD department, like go talk to the AD and be like, hey, can I help you? Or just stand next to him all day. Like Sam says that all the time about like, that's what he, like when he was first starting out in the industry, he just used to go stand by AD and he'd be like, well, yeah, and he would just be there so that guy knew that Sam was gonna be there. And it's just, it's like one of those things, if you show up on set, you work hard, you get noticed for sure, because, you know, people can, it's easy to tell when people don't work hard.
And the reverse of that is also true, correct? Like
Yeah.
if you're lazy and you're not doing your job and you're screwing around, that gets noticed too, and
You
you're not
100%
gonna
notice that.
hire him back, right?
You are not going to hire that person unless you like really, really need someone, because
And
everyone
I
else is
think
booked.
and I would venture to say, I could be wrong, but I would venture to say that the word travels fast, probably faster on
Well,
that
yeah.
type of scenario.
This is, at the end of the day, Vegas is still a very small film community, and
Isn't
you
it
know,
though?
oh yeah, everything, you know, everybody knows everybody.
Yeah.
You know, I'm very blessed to know the people that I know and to work with the people that I work with, because there's been a lot of trial and error, you know, like there's been a lot of people that I'm just like, oh, that was
Yeah.
one and done, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, you know, you learn your lesson and you're like,
they didn't
oh.
make it through the
And then
production,
someone's like,
by the
oh,
way,
hey,
yeah.
I'm gonna hire blah blah, and you're like, oh.
Yeah. Right? I mean, that's exactly how it works. If people don't think you're getting vetted by other people, you're absolutely getting vetted all the time, like for everything you do, you know, on and off set, right? So I think that's a good lesson that people should understand. Any other questions? No one? Yeah, go for it, Heather. Heather, the chair of UNLV
Yeah,
Film
that's
School.
great. No, it's good.
But one thought I had is like, so the pandemic has shifted a lot of work for people to be more virtual. So do you see it impacting like the work of producers, like line producers, UPMs, or are there really people who need to be very present physically?
I mean, I think for the most part, prep has always been quite remote. Maybe we push more of the prep into like Zoom meetings and things nowadays, because there's just some things that you have to do in person, you know. Like table reads, I think we've done full script reads over like virtually. It's tough. It's way more tough. Well, but then I don't know. We did one where everybody's in the same room and it lasted like 5 hours. You know, like so. It's just, you know, the ones the virtual ones seem to go a little bit quicker. But again, you know, it's different when you're in the room with people and then there's, you know, I don't know. I would say like it's preferable that you're in person, but it has shifted a lot of things. A lot of, you know, a lot more. I'd say a lot more Zoom calls, because normally prep is just like you just talk to the person on the phone and then you do it. Now it's like, hey, let's have a Zoom call, and I'm like, oh, great.
like Zoom fatigue, I guess they're calling it, right? Like
Yeah,
thing
yeah.
like that is why, honestly, let me just take a moment to explain. That is why I'm doing this here, and I'd like to thank our festival board for allowing me to do this, because you know our festival is hybrid this year, and we didn't know what was going to happen, and the mandates are changing by the moment, and you know by the time we start planning this thing, you know we were like, you know, I don't even know if I can pull this off. It was going to be 6 feet apart and limited crew, and you know, everybody was going to be with the masks on. But I said, you know what? I can't. I've known Jemma for a long time, right? I don't want to give you this thing through the computer or whatever. You know, I wanted to have the FaceTime at any cost, to just have this interaction with you. Plus, I haven't seen you in a while, so I was like, please, let me do this. And while I'm talking about thanking people, I really want to thank the crew here at F11 Rentals, 5-6 Productions, the tech team working on this tonight, Jem and Samantha, J.R. Reed and Jessica, who helped me tremendously today, and Ermelinda helped me with some other things I can't say. Yeah, so I really do appreciate, I mean, while you're talking about the team and producing, I mean, these people just came together for you, and it was just like, I didn't even know what I didn't know that I needed until they realized that they pointed out I didn't have it, or thought, you know, later on, and it was all of a sudden, these folks stand so much behind you that they were just, what can they do? They're missing Resort World is opening tonight. There's a Knights game. I mean, all this kind of stuff. I apologize again. Did anybody know the score? Let's tell her later. Okay. Overtime. All right, we're gonna end it. We're gonna end pretty early.
No,
hang on.
You know, it's over. Like just the fact that there is people that showed up here is
Of course they
very
showed up.
like, it was, again, very surprising, and you know, just overwhelming to know
Dude, they
that
love
people
you. People love
show
you.
up for you, and it's like
course.
thank you guys.
Yeah. So, on that note, On that note, this is the presentation part of the. We have this beautiful thing that I really hope I don't drop it right now. But this is the Jemma Jones Nevada Women Film Festival 2021 Nevada Woman of Achievement Award. James is getting a shot, hopefully, of that.
Okay.
Jemma Jones.
Thank you.
Would you like to say anything? No pressure, but would you like to say anything?
I'm like,
You absolutely don't have
I haven't been
to.
talking for the last
It's fine.
full hour. No, I guess I would just like to say thank you to the Nevada Women's Film Festival for honoring me with this award. It's been a very overwhelming but wonderful highlight to my career to be recognized by the women in our community. And I think that what you guys do here is really great, highlighting, some voices that sometimes don't get heard and get looked over. So, yeah, thank you very much. This has been so lovely, and I hope I didn't talk too much.
You didn't talk too much. That's what it is. You're supposed to talk. It's an interview. So, Jemma, I can't let you have the last word. You know that.
That's
I don't know
fine.
if you know that, but I'm going to just keep pulling out surprises one after the other after the other. And there are some very special people that have some very special messages that they would like to share with you.
Oh,
Roll it.
Oh.
Jemma, I just heard that you won Woman of the Year at this year's Nevada Women's Film Festival, and I just wanted to say that I am so proud of you, and I can't believe all of what you've accomplished in such a short amount of time, and I'm just so lucky to be your friend and co-worker, and love you and congratulations.
Hi James, congratulations on this honour that you have received. It is amazing and we are so proud of you, and this is due to all your hard work that you have put in over the last 15 or so years.
Hey, it's Mark Roberts coming to you from the set of Holiday in Santa Fe, Lifetime Christmas movie. Jemma Jones, I hear you are being honored by the Nevada Women's Film Festival. Well deserved. I just want to say congratulations. You are an amazing producer. I'm very lucky to work with you. This is my second film with Jemma. One of the things that I think is required to be a great producer is you have to care a lot about your product, care about the script, care about your audience, care about your crew, and care about doing a good job. Jemma does all of those things. She's a remarkable partner. She's someone who cares a great deal about everything that happens in a movie, and that's why we do it, right? We're all here to entertain the world and give someone a smile on their face during the holidays, and I think we're doing that. Jemma, congratulations. You deserve it, and to all of you who are meeting Jemma for the first time, you're very lucky. She's a wonderful person and she's a great producer. Congratulations, Jemma.
Congratulations, Jemma. We're all so proud of you. I know it's been so amazing for me to see you starting out as a UNLV film student and watch your incredible glow up into the UPM that you are now. Congratulations on this amazing award and all of your accomplishments. We love you so much.
Cheers to you, Jemma, on being named Woman of the Year in Las Vegas, Nevada, for all that you do for the film community. I wanted to thank you personally for making me feel so comfortable on my very, very first Christmas movie. Basically, you broke my Christmas movie cherry. Thanks. Cheers. I wish this was not water, like maybe a Bloody Mary.
Hey, it's Melissa Joan Hart here, and I have to send huge congratulations to my friend Jemma. Congratulations on your Women Achievement Award. Well deserved. I mean, I'm not surprised at all. You've done, we've done, half a dozen movies together, and you've killed every one of them. I've had fun working with you. You're such a pro. I'm so proud of you. I'm so happy for you. Congratulations, and thank you to the Nevada Women's Film Festival for celebrating our Jemma.
Hey Jemma, just wanted to come on and say congratulations. We're so proud of you for everything you have accomplished, especially during a pandemic. You've come so far, and we all know that it's not easy, especially in this industry. I can only imagine how far you'll get, considering the rate that you're already going. So cheers to you and your career, and here's to more successful years. Love you.
Jemma Jones, I'm so proud of you, man. Meeting you for the first time while you were a student at UNLV Film and watching where you are now, being an amazing producer, traveling all over this country, coming from where you came from, you're living like the American dream. From New Zealand, coming over here, and you're just making it all happen. Anything you want, you could accomplish. And I also have a special thanks to you because you helped me not give up on myself and my dreams. And I know you've helped others along the way. Most people step on other people to succeed. You have not only created your own steps, but you have helped others come along with you. And if that's not an incredible person, I don't know who is. So you deserve this award more than anybody I ever know. And I'm super proud of you again. And I can't wait to see you when you get back in town.
Hey, Mario Lopez here, and I've had the pleasure of working with Jemma on 2 films now. She is an amazing producer who always brings great energy on the set, and she is just on it. You couldn't have picked a better honoree, so congratulations, Jemma. You're the best. See you on the next film, sweetie. Mwah.
Jemma, my love, I am so incredibly proud of you and how far you've come. You're an amazing producer, an amazing mentor, and I'm so lucky to have learned so much about this industry from you. Thank you for bringing me along as your right-hand woman. I'm so incredibly lucky. I'll never forget meeting you at UNLV Film and riding next to you on the plane to Sundance. I was like, I need to know this girl. I need to sit next to her. But I'm so proud of you, and I can't wait to see what the next 10 years holds. I love you.
I want to say congratulations, Jemma. You are the hardest working producer in Las Vegas, and I wish you years and years of success and happiness. I know you've got it in you. I'll see you soon in Montana.
Congratulations. That's so cool. You're getting honored for this tonight. Dog, I'm so proud of you. I can remember from the very beginnings of our friendship where you were just doing improv, and that's where I met you, to all the different projects we've got to work on. And it's just so cool that you're getting honored for this now. And I'm so grateful that you're in my life, somebody who supported me and literally brought me on so many different projects. And I've had so many opportunities because of you, and I'm just one person you've touched. And I know you've touched the community, so that's very cool. And I'm so proud of you, and I think it's so deserving of this. So congratulations, dude. Have a good night, okay?
Hey, Jems. Just wanted to let you know that I am in absolute awe of the things that you've accomplished. I'm incredibly proud of you, and I am so proud to call you my friend. Well done, mate.
Hey, Jemma. You're over there behind me talking about something, but I just want to say congratulations for winning the Nevada Film Festival Woman of the Year. Well deserved. There you are on the phone, probably complaining about somebody breaking a TV who's a famous person who won't be mentioned. But well done, you well deserve it. Thank you for taking us on these 5 Christmas movies, and shame on you for taking us on these 5 Christmas movies and the other 5 Christmas movies this year and the 5 Christmas movies next year. Congratulations, Jemma, well deserved. Big love.
Hi Jemma, a big congratulations from both of us for this awesome award that you're getting. You so deserve it, and you've worked so hard to get here. To think all those years at UNLV and Camp America and constantly returning to Vegas to then live there has turned into this. Well done.
Nice one.
Here we are again in Christmas Wonderland because of you.
Thank you, Jemma, for the opportunities, and congratulations on the Nevada Women Filmmaker Award.
Yes, congratulations on your award, and we love you.
Kia ora tēnā koutou. Greetings, welcome from New Zealand. Hey James, I'd just like to say how so proud we are of you for getting this award. It's so immensely enjoyable knowing that you're working in an industry that you love and enjoy so much. Keep up the hard work. Take care. Love you always. See ya.
I am so thrilled that Jemma is being honored for her achievements in producing. She's an amazing and vibrant person who deserves our attention and accolades because she not only accomplished a lot thus far, but I get the feeling that we haven't seen anything yet. We will all be amazed at how far this young woman will take us, and what an incredible journey it will be for all of us to watch. One of the most important aspects of Jemma as a producer is what she actually produces. She produces movies, of course, and that's amazing and truly a difficult feat that deserves recognition. But it's the other things that Jemma produces that make her different, unique, and special, that are important, that are life-changing and profound. When Jemma produces a show, she produces far more than just the film she's working on. She also produces intangible and priceless things like smiles, happiness, warmth, and fun, which are most times very difficult to find on a busy film set. Jemma produces things like spirit, audacity, caring, wonder, joy, and empowerment. Most importantly, she produces meaning and fulfillment in the people's lives she works with. Jemma produces, embodies, and is all of these things. But more importantly, she shares all of these wonderful things with all who come in contact with her. She never keeps them hidden away for herself, but rather gives them away freely to us in great abundance. You will never leave a meeting or a text or a conversation with Jemma without feeling uplifted and blessed. I could tell you countless stories that exemplify all that Jemma is, but we have a limited amount of time, so you'll just have to trust me when I say, Jemma is truly compassionate, Jemma is caring, Jemma is deeply concerned about others and their well-being. Jemma makes a difference in people's lives and strives to help others in every situation, no matter the cost. If you haven't met Jemma, then through this honor you will learn that she is a fantastic film producer on the rise. But allow me to encourage you to get to know her, because what is really honorable about her is that not only is she a great film producer, she is a fantastic producer of better lives for all of those she touches. I sincerely wish you could all be as lucky as I have been and as blessed as I have been and get a little Jemma in your life. She simply makes every day bigger, better, and brighter for all those she encounters. Congratulations, Jemma. I'm so very proud of you, both for what you have accomplished and, more importantly, for who you are.
I'm good.
The Jemma Jones Kleenex? Oh, we were like so prepared for this. I'm good. We're gonna try to, I hope we're gonna try to like cue it back to the beginning of Warren's speech. Are you guys able to do that?
Yeah, that was already so lovely.
It was already so lovely, but you have to, I mean, you have to hear, you have to experience the whole thing, because it's so good.
Okay, we'll experience.
Like I want him to write my eulogy. It's that good. I mean, it's like, it's good. It's so good. I thought, wow. See, it wasn't that bad.
No, it wasn't.
It wasn't that bad.
I'm gonna put this on my, I don't even remember the last time I won an award.
Well, that's unfortunate. You should be winning awards all the time.
It's okay.
Like, at least recognized, you know. It was important. I want to ask you one other thing while we're waiting.
Oh.
You commented that, like, this was also embarrassing and overwhelming. Why? I mean, for me, like, embarrassing is like the mariachi guys coming to the, you know, sing you happy birthday. Like, that's embarrassing.
That's embarrassing.
I mean, are you going to be embarrassed if you win an Oscar? I mean, yeah, be embarrassed. Take the trophy. Is what I'm saying.
I think, I don't know. I guess I just think that, like, you know, as a person, like in a position like this, you're only as good as the people that you're surrounded with. And I don't know. I feel like I don't deserve this award as much as everybody else. You know what I'm saying? Like everybody else here deserves this just as much as I do because they help do what we do. You know what I mean? So maybe that's just what it is. I don't know. I guess part of me thinks that I didn't deserve it at all. So it's like, you know what I mean? It's all kinds of issues.
We could like have a whole other interview on that. My husband was just telling me about that the other day. There's a name for that. Imposter syndrome.
Yeah, that's what it is.
Do I have it? I think I have it. I have it. You have it. He's like, you have it. You totally have it. So I think to a certain extent we all feel that. We all feel I'm so not deserving. I don't know what I'm doing. You know what I mean? But you know, you got to own it and everything. Okay, so It's not working right now, but I have the clip. We will put it on our social media channels.
Oh, great. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Well, just, yeah.
All right, we'll play it later. We'll put it at
Okay.
a different time. We'll totally post it.
Okay.
But that concludes our program. Thank you, everyone, for watching. And thank you guys for being here.
Thank you for everybody that watched.
Perfect. Yeah, no, that's a solid trophy, man.
Knowing that you're working in an industry that you love and enjoy so much. Keep up the hard work. Take care. Love you always. See ya.
I am so thrilled that Jemma is being honored for her achievements in producing. She's an amazing and vibrant person who deserves our attention and accolades because she not only accomplished a lot thus far, but I get the feeling that we haven't seen anything yet. We will all be amazed at how far this young woman will take us, and what an incredible journey it will be for all of us to watch. One of the most important aspects of Jemma as a producer is what she actually produces. She produces movies, of course, and that's amazing and truly a difficult feat that deserves recognition. But it's the other things that Jemma produces that make her different, unique, and special, that are important, that are life-changing and profound. When Jemma produces a show, she produces far more than just the film she's working on. She also produces intangible and priceless things like smiles, happiness, warmth, and fun, which are most